When you highlight data for charts in Excel, the way you highlight the data and the labels matters as to how that chart will be created. Let's look at an example, and in this video I'm going to specifically use the Select Data option so that you know how to go in and change your labels and such to make a better chart. I'm going to look at the animal shelters here. I have the shelter number and I have the quarterly expenses. I'm going to create a chart that shows for each shelter number the quarterly expenses. I'm not going to highlight the labels just so that I can show you later how to pull those in. I am going to highlight just the data. I'm going to recommended charts to see what it will give me. I'm going to pull this column chart. The Select Data option will work for any type of chart. But if you look at this chart, it's not a very good chart. It doesn't tell us much. It doesn't have labels, and the legend does not have labels. Also, you have the small column that goes all the way across. It just changes a little bit for each of the sets of columns. Let's determine what's going on here. Well, we have 10 numbers here. If we look at the shelter numbers, there are 10 numbers for our shelters. So each of the sets of columns should be displaying the shelter numbers here for the axis title or the axis label. When we go in and look here, we have 5 series of sets of data in our legend. The first one is the dark blue, which is here. That's that really weird small column. And then we have 4 other columns. What this is doing, it's taking the data for each of the quarters. So if we look at this one, it's 27,000 for that burgundy column for the first one. And then it's 25,700, 23,400, and so forth. Those are the numbers for each quarter. The small column down here at the bottom is actually the shelter number. You can see it's at about 1,000. We need to remove that from here and add the labels to the axis in the legend. Let's go under the chart design and select data. We want to edit these 10 labels to show the shelter numbers. I'm going to click on Edit, and it asks for the axis label range, which is right here. And you can see that feeds into your chart. Next, we want to change the series and remove this from the columns. Our series 1 is the shelter number that we need to remove. We'll click on that and remove it. And then for the other labels, we know those are for each of the quarters, and we just need to pull in the labels for those. If you edit, you can't go in and pull in all of those at once because it thinks you're doing that for the first series. You need to edit those individually and pull in each individual label so that it will show those properly in the chart. You could also go in and change your axis label. Since we had those really small numbers for the shelter numbers in the chart, it was kind of skewing the data. Depending on how you want to view the data, you could change that minimum number here so that you can see the data in a different way.